Number 2, folks. One sec while I try and figure out which is which. Dimaga is red. Alright. So means the other team gets the +1. This is game number 2 in a best of 3. We're in the winner's match. This is the semifinals for the Rocketbeans Archon Cup. In the top left corner of the map, they're down at the moment. Maybe they'll bring it back. It's going to be the red Archon comprised of Dimaga and Slivko.
In the bottom right is the blue Zerg Archon. It's Lambo and Targa.
I feel like we should have different names for these. Like 2 Protoss players are an Archon. 2 Zerg players are the Hive Mind. 2 Terran would be the Think Tank.
It doesn't quite...
It doesn't roll off the tongue the same way an Archon does.
See, because that's what you would call people who are like 2v2, 3v3, 4v4. It's different when 2 people is 1. You know what I mean, Chili Bean?
2 hearts, 1 family.
Okay, that's a beautiful song, and you ruined it.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Like, you never go wrong with Phil Collins. Just saying.
We cry every time.
Someone actually, I want to bring this up because this is actually an interesting point to address, because I feel the same way somewhat, where one of our viewers was like, oh, this is BS, I want to see Legacy of the Void, I want to see news, I don't want to see bailing, boring all in. But there's kind of an interesting nuance to that, right? Like even in bailing all in is different than it is in Heart of the Swarm. You've got much more units to use in the first place, which means your opponent's got a lot more drones. And I don't know if you guys really caught on to this because we didn't bring it up, but even after that first bailing hit on the mineral line, Team Red Archon still had pretty much the same amount, if not more, drones.
Yeah.
Despite losing like 7.
Yeah.
So the thing is like... Oh, sorry, continue.
No, you continue. I thought you were done. You weren't. I was the rude one.
Oh, well, I was just going to say that things like Ling All-Ins in general are harder to pull off because there's more drones to defend early pools. Bailing All-Ins, they have to do so much more damage and the pressure's on that player in a much bigger way. And because of that, even if you go for like a Bailing All-In and it fails, maybe both players recover, you bounce off, and then you get that scrappy mid-late game with the weird Roach versus Lurker timings. I don't know. But again, even the things that you know to be common and maybe even stupid, again air quotes here, in Heart of the Swarm don't translate to be played out the same way in Legacy of the Void. I do feel though that between Dimaga and Slivko, there was a communication breakdown somewhere, because there was awkward splits, not great engagements, and that build just didn't really scream refinement, you know?
I guess not. One of the hardest things that we discovered playing Zerg is, well, we played back when Ravagers were still the way to go, and that really was just expanding upon the boringness that is ZVZ. That was not a fun time. It was, instead of Roaches, it was Roach Ravager. Like, not that different, not that fun. But you really, you can't skip the Baneling Ling part. People would try to go straight to Roaches, and they would die. You still can't skip that. Absolutely necessary to defend that. And then B, for the Archon mode specifically, scouting is such a big part of being Zerg, right? It's the reactionary race, and scouting in ZVZ is usually done with units, like not like an obvious overload running in, but like the Lings running into the base and seeing a Baneling nest or whatever. And if you don't report that back, if you don't like make note that like, hey, 20 Lings are on the way, like pay attention, stop injecting, then they're not gonna know, right? So that's it's one of the easiest races to break up the communication in Archon mode. We have kind of similar things happening here.
Yeah, the Baneling's rushing in. Good drone splits this time. One's on the left side left kind of abandoned, but Lings of the main get taken care of. Still sitting on 34 drones. This damage is not enough out of Blue Archon, and I don't know if they can get enough, as they've wasted quite a few. Baneling's coming out for Team Dimaga and Slivko as well. They say cheese me once, shame on us. She's on twice, it's going to be our fault, I guess, but that's not going to happen this time around. He's got to be careful. He's going to be so careful with these Banelings hatching like this.
One's wasted. Very.
It's like the third one is wasted, actually.
Yeah, man, this is not working out.
That Baneling hatching was perfect, by the way. It's like, I'm alive for 1 second!
Red Archon's going to try and get into Roaches. In fact, which is fine. Like, now is a time that you probably would get away with it. You know, you have to be careful, but you're probably gonna be fine. Blue Archon's still gonna continue all-inning, Oh, they're not giving up on this because they're only down by like 4 drones. You know, that's recoverable in your own drone process, but not so. Not gonna try.
Yeah, that's going quite poorly. I'd say to the point where they're pretty much done for soon. I mean, it's not just that they're down in drones, but their tech's going to be a little bit worse. Unless this second, third, fifth push actually does something, you know, it's going to be a while before Team Red Archon's on Roaches. It's going to be a while before Team Red Archon's on, like, an actual follow-up, I guess. Or sorry, Blue Archon, not Red Archon. Ugh.
Right. Now, the important thing is is that the Roaches probably aren't going to be able to counterattack that quickly if they are, and then if they are, they'd also have to be with a lot of Lings and Banelings. That'd have to be like a dedicated Roach Baneling attack. It's only thing the Roach is over, Red Archon would be able to get enough Lings to deal with that, no problem. So unless that is the case, then Blue Archon has a minute or two where they're perfectly fine. They're okay to go. We actually have a Ravager on the way. One Ravager is probably just to clear up any Overlords that they're going to come across, as he does have the commanding position, but they're not what you're supposed to go into anymore.
No, they got less health than a Roach. Their damage and attack speed was almost doubled or halved, however you want to look at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the attack speed delay was doubled, I guess. There you go.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice save.
Curse of Bile is neat, though. I mean, it's one of those lucky hits. Maybe you actually hit the Banelings. Maybe you miss miserably. I don't know. But I don't imagine he made a Ravager with the thought of saying, hey, you know what? I want to attack that another map with Overlords. On my way to my opponent's base. Every Ling is kind of wasted on a Queen right in that corner, by the way. So nicely done.
All Blue Archon has to do is hold this attack. They're the ones that are going to have the better tech as the lair finishes up.
I agree.
What? That's not Red Archon's Queen.
No, because I'm going to
well, all right.
There you go, 2 Lings. She's got the advantage. Other side of the map, there's a Spine Crawler. There's a lot of Roaches. This is... You say all they have to do is defend, and it's kind of just as simple as that, right? Blue Archon's got this great concave at the top of the ramp. They've got 14 Roaches, a couple of Banelings, and of course the Spine Crawlers above all else.
And now Red Archon is the one that's behind, you know, in drones, in tech. Blue Archon...
Oh, it's a shame.
Again, I don't know if he'll be able to counterattack. What?
It's a shame it's an Overlord here, because they're using the Corrosive Bile to start sniping out the Spore Crawlers and hitting the Banelings.
Yeah, well, that's why I think he made the Ravagers too, besides getting the lucky hit, was to tear down the buildings. But he goes out to meet the forces. This might have been a mistake.
I agree. Corrosive Bile actually got some pretty good shots off on the Roaches. Sadly, though, it looks like that'll be the last Corrosive Bile to go down. It is 11 Roaches here in the favor of Red Archon. But Defender's advantage, those Spine Crawlers, if he fights on that ramp, he wins this every time.
A couple of crucial transfuses go down. And now that really hurt, you know? If they had waited just 30 more seconds, they would have pushed them out and taken their third. Now it's kind of awkward where, I mean, can they still push them out? Can they still take their third? Well, now Red Archon's the one that has a much faster third. You know, the layer timing's catching up. The only thing that Blue Archon has now is Roach speed. But doesn't have the army supply and doesn't have the drone lead anymore.
It's worth noting too, by the way, guys, since we do have some folks joining us, I guess, now instead of earlier in the cast, Dimaga is not currently playing with White Raw, even though he normally would, because White Raw was a no-show today. Rather than say, you know what, Dimaga, sorry, we're just going to disqualify you, the fine folks at Rocketbeans TV found substitutes, which is pretty cool. Overseer, please. Move. Got 7 eyes, but no legs. Come on. There you go. So you know what I think would be probably one of the coolest things you could do for StarCraft 2 right now that would affect the most people with the least impact on balance on the game?
What?
I guess you could customize the F2 menu. So you can pick what F2 selects.
Yeah, probably would.
And I'm wondering here for a moment, and it sounds a bit silly, if collecting all his forces and going may have been what prevented him before. Or maybe it was just like the awkward push out regardless. But we do have Tunneling Claws and Burrow coming out of Blue Archon. Does he already have Galil? He does. Okay, so they're going to have that wicked fast burrow speed. However, Roach's healing factor was nerfed quite a bit actually while they are burrowed. So you can still burrow Roach and heal it back up to full, just take like 20 seconds instead of 10 type thing. But the idea is with Burrow, Tunneling Claws, and Galil Reconstitution, Roaches move hella fast while underground.
Yes, that's true. And I guess, well, okay, that's really all he has going for him. I was gonna note the upgrades and whatnot, but that's all in favor of Red Archon. So never mind. He really only has that bro to help out. I was wondering how Overlords just continuously vomit creep. It doesn't make any sense.
So
There's even a timer.
I imagine they're probably sick to a degree.
And even then, you just eventually die. Okay, like Oregon Trail, right?
I'm thinking less about what you're thinking about and more about just runny nose. And for those who don't know what she's thinking about, she's being totally lewd.
Well, no one's ever died of a runny nose. Well, maybe they have. I don't know.
Yet.
Yet? Are you gonna be the first?
I don't want to be the first. That's my point.
Oh, okay. Well, oh well. Not important. What is important is that we are going to see lurkers. So lurkers can change the game so drastically. One, because they just have a lot of good damage, and sometimes you run into them without noticing they're there, and then your army dies. But also, people just aren't used to them. Some people think that you aren't even supposed to get lurkers. You know, and they won't bother their lurker den.
You absolutely must.
That's a big problem.
It was Dimaga who lost that one game because he was the one on a Roach Hydra with no lurkers, and I think it was Bly who did.
I don't remember who it was, but possibly, probably.
I guess for this sake, lurkers are pretty good versus Hydralisks in general, but they're exceptionally good versus Roaches. Bonus damage, 2 armor, nothing here really going to be that big of a threat to them.
I'm a little worried the Blue Archon isn't getting that lurker den yet. They don't even have a Hydralisk den.
I'm a little surprised they're not harassing the third, the main and the natural with these Thundering Claws.
That is true too. Maybe they're waiting to see the army push out. Either way, the army composition is getting drastically out of control for Red Archon. If Blue Archon thinks you're going to go in a Roach Baneling because you can do that in Heart of the Swarm, I'm going to say that's not going to work. Just a guess. We haven't actually seen it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a Corrosive Bile could take out so many Banelings if you know they're coming.
Yeah, or just the lurkers would all disintegrate them before they get to the army.
Fair enough. It's worth noting too, just sorry for those who are maybe just tuning in, this is the winner's match. So there's no immediate danger of dying and being knocked out of the tournament. There is a loser's bracket for this event, with 2 best-of-3s to go after this. And we'll see if somebody here wins and sends Dimaga packing, or if maybe Dimaga will bring this back. Packing? Sorry, Canadian come through.
Packing with his pockets.
Polly packing.
Oh my god. Did you have one?
No.
Oh.
I just remember the commercial. That song was so annoying. Polly pockets.
Make it sound so beautiful though.
Dude, you know what I hate about songs?
What?
I really hate when folks try and fancy up the national anthem.
The Canadian one or the American one, or all
in
national
general.
anthems?
It feels like in general that people always try to one up the version that we were taught in school, and I'm like, it's just an anthem, guys. Come down.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, the lurkers go on the attack here, and they're gonna burrow. Oh my god, the roaches are all clumped.
That's it. That's Rip and Pepperonis.
Oh my god.
Even with the Banelings coming out behind this, there's not that many is the problem. So what is he gonna do? He can see them. He's got vision, but the Banelings are trying to roll in. Gonna get cut off by the Hydras. Gonna have these lurkers separate. I mean, they're dead on arrival. They're dead before arrival. Meanwhile, everything getting picked off here in the National. More Banelings finishing up 17 and 12 Roaches, but I don't think this is going to be enough. There's still 22 Roaches on the field. Lurkers remain mostly untouched through all of this, and those Banelings just can't get any connects. GG is going to be called, and it looks like Red Archon will tie up the series 1-1.
Lurkers are good.